All right, greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Andrew Kirchhoff, and that was not my intro, but I'm just making sure audio is good because during that little intro there, my internet started to fade out here a little bit. Either way, greetings and salutations, everyone. Hope you all are doing well after that awful Thursday night football game. Another awful one for the record book again. It's very similar to last week. Just, a little bit, the quality of teams are significantly different. The New York Jets, are they even a team? What is going on? Either way, the entire purpose of this entire live stream is not to just talk crap about the New York Jets and how, Garrett Wilson, Bam Knight, and some of those instances, for those of you who played them, are going to potentially be in a tough scenario this upcoming week, but hopefully we'll talk about fantasy questions that relate to players for the future, games here in week 16 in order to try to help us capture a victory in this given week. Luckily, for 2 consecutive weeks, we've at least seen a tight end go off. For those of you who haven't checked out my quarterback and tight end rankings video right here, bottom right, that is the thumbnail. It was posted earlier today, a couple hours before the game. So if you haven't checked that out, go ahead and do so. Outside of Trevor Lawrence and Evan Ingram, there was no one else in that game that I had ranked. I had Evan Ingram at my number 4 tight end and Trevor Lawrence at my number 12. So, probably looks like they'll probably end up in that region. I think they could have both played even better than they did. It's just unfortunate the fact that we had guys like Christian Kirk completely disappear, Garrett Wilson completely disappear. Travis Etienne had a decent game. Not a great game, but a decent game. We'll take that. At a bare minimum, I think in a half PPR, what is like 13, almost 14 fantasy points. Decent numbers. Either way, the entire purpose of today's live stream, answer questions. So we're going to go ahead and let's get into that immediately. There's just no reason to stall any longer. I'm going to go ahead and pop the chat up onto screen. Let me go ahead. Let's pop out the YouTube chat, and then we can go into the darkness of trying to figure out what the heck we're going to do based on some of the performances of tonight. Absolutely awful, to say the very least. It is unfortunate. I already see some of you spamming holiday emojis and Santa Claus emojis. Happy holidays, everyone. Whether you do end up swinging by on Christmas Eve, the 24th, whether it's, Christmas morning, I'll be here on both mornings live streaming. So for those of you who are interested, bring the holiday spirit, as we'll be talking all things fantasy, and of course I'll have rankings available throughout those 2 streams. Okay, let's get into this, shall we? Let's see, where the heck is my YouTube chat? Boom, let's open this. Perfect, done, awesome. Let's scroll back up a little bit here, and then that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do that. There we go. I was about to say, I was like, hold up. All right, let's see what we have to say here. Can someone cover 17? No. Again, I talked about it in this video right here earlier today. The last 4 games now, considering today's game, Evan Ingram has really begun to, take off. We talked about it in the offseason. We've talked about it in multiple occasions. The entire purpose of bringing in Evan Ingram to this offense is to utilize him as, the Zach Ertz, technically, right? Because if you look at Doug Peterson, his history with Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert back in Philadelphia, that's what he wants to do. And it's finally coming to fruition. It took a little while to get there. The early half of the season wasn't as consistent as we would have liked it to be, but as of late, the guy is he's playing out of his mind. It's incredible. We love to see it. Let's see here. What's up, High Society? Flex Godwin or Zach Moss in a half PPR? I'd rather. Sorry, this is Goodwin, not Godwin. So I'm assuming this is Marquise Goodwin. If it's between a Marquise Goodwin and a Zach Moss, I'd probably just play Zach Moss there. I'd probably say that I'm higher on Zach Moss than a lot of other people are. I've readjusted my rankings. Let me actually pull up my rankings just so when y'all ask questions, I can kind of refer to them. I've readjusted my rankings accordingly. I have Marquise Goodwin as my number 35 wide receiver, but I still have Zach Moss. Where is he in a half PPR? Let's change the filter. Boom, half PPR. I have him at my number 31 back. I'll still take Zach Moss. I think he has a little bit more upside based on the volume of touches that he's going to be given. Javelin says, greetings and salutations. What's up? Hope you're doing well. Andy says, what's up, man? Dak Prescott or Purdy for the playoffs? Yeah, it's Dak Prescott for sure. Yeah, listen, guys, it's Dak Prescott. He's going to score points. That's a given, right? We don't really have to worry about that. Peoples-Jones or Slayton? I'll take Peoples-Jones. Was forced to start Knight in 2 and 3 of my leagues. Sick to my stomach. Hey, Jake, listen, we're gonna bring it back. Don't worry, we're gonna bring it back. People are gonna have bad performances. you're not going to be immune to that unless you have an absolutely unstoppable team. So it's going to happen. We just have to be able to hope that the rest of the boys on our team are going to pull it together and help you clutch out a win here. Zach Wilson killed 17's juicy matchup. I don't know what we're talking about. Who's 17? Because the 17 I'm thinking of is the guy that was on the thumbnail of today's live stream. I did see some of you send in a couple super chats. We'll get to that in a moment. Just wanted to catch up a little bit here. Happy holidays, Andrew, and everyone. Thank you very much, King. Appreciate that. Merry Christmas. What's up? Paul Getz says, in my playoff league, I picked up quarterbacks in my playoff league, I picked up quarterbacks as a block forced my opponent to play Jeff Wilson. Okay, not bad. I mean, you mean Zach Wilson or Jeff Wilson? I'm assuming you meant Zach Wilson, which at that point, congratulations. That's always a smart thing to do. I'm in a very similar scenario in my own home league where I intentionally used my first overall waiver to pick up Gardner Minshew this week because I knew that my opponent in my home league is not going to have Lamar, and he's going to have to be forced to play Davis Mills in a super flex. So that's always fun. Let's see here. Joseph Baker says, what are your defensive rankings? Listen, Joseph, you're already jumping to the defensive rankings, huh? Is Kansas City? No, I wouldn't play Kansas City. They're not in my top 12. I'll tell you that much for right now. Anyone else in an IDP league? Oh, yeah, this is for somebody else. Somebody else help him out because I don't know IDP stuff. Probably lost semis. Flex not. Yeah, it's unfortunate, Alvin. Anthony Y says, okay, he's talking to somebody else. Never mind. I have Ingram in the Jacksonville defense. Yeah, Jacksonville's defense. I'll tell you, at least right now, where did I have Jacksonville's defense? I had them at 11. So I didn't even think that highly of them. I didn't expect it to be this big of a turnout, but they played well. Hey, for those of you who were gutsy enough to start them, I know it's not technically gutsy because it's Zach Wilson on the other side, and the Detroit Lions just had 12 points against him last week, but still. Keith says, hey, Andrew, lost Taylor and Hurts recently. Should I play Rodgers or Minshew? Injuries just needed. Okay, yeah, at this point, I feel more comfortable playing Gardner Minshew over Aaron Rodgers this week. I would. Standard format, Montgomery or Kenneth Walker. I'll probably play Kenneth Walker there in a standard format. ETN had a solid game. Yeah, solid game. Not the best, but solid. Started my semis. Has been a disaster for me. I started both Kirk and Garrett Wilson. Oof, that's tough. My opponent had Evan Ingram. Need any other player to go off this week? Yeah, it's going to be tough, Anvesh. It's going to be definitely tough. Okay, let me see here. There were a couple super chats sent in. Let me go ahead and address them really quickly. First and foremost, Ashley, thank you very much. Says, I started Slayton over Zay. Garrett Wilson got me 5. I played Slayton over Zay. Garrett Wilson got... Okay, got it. Yeah, I mean, look, we talked about this on Wednesday's video, right? In terms of the potential of Zay Jones probably being locked down in this game. It wasn't, full coverage of Gardner the entirety of that game, but he certainly saw his fair share of looks from him, which obviously makes a huge difference in terms of the sustainability of being able to continue to target him at a high rate, in which we've seen over the course of the last month from Trevor Lawrence to him. But hey, at least you were able to avoid one of those traps at this current moment in time. Thank you, Ashley. Appreciate that. All right, CB sends in a question, or actually there wasn't really a question attached to it, so let me just see if CB is even in the chat. Let's see, where you at? Started Garrett Wilson. That's rough. My opponent had Bam Knight and Kirk. Okay, so at least it evens itself out a little bit there. Glad your internet is working, King. Yeah, I mean, listen, sometimes the internet wants to work, sometimes it doesn't. I appreciate that, CB. Thank you. Sal sends in a super chat. Thank you very much, Sal. Appreciate it. Very generous of you. Half PPR. Top end of the roster is locked. Been carried by Fields, Kelsey, AJ Brown. Okay, cool. Waddle, Stevenson, Mike Williams. Back end falls off. I have falls off hard. I need 2 between, I think it says Rachaad White, Jamal Williams, Tyler Algier, Deion Jackson, and James Cook. In a half PPR scoring format, I would probably, at the moment, feel most comfortable playing someone like Rachaad White along with Tyler Algier, to be totally honest. That's kind of the direction I'm leaning in between the group of players that you have available there, Sal. Thank you. Again, reminder, guys, it is Thursday, okay? So a question you ask me today in regards to whether it's a super chat or whether it's in the chat in itself, right, the live chat, it could change by the time we get to Saturday morning. So I just want to emphasize, again, I will be available here Saturday morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So basically, our Sunday morning stream is going to be moved to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Boom, because, again, there's a lot of games on Saturday. And in our Sunday morning stream on Christmas Day, I will be live streaming from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Just 1 hour quick kind of answer a couple questions if anybody needs anything to be adjusted in regards to the 3 games on that Sunday, and then we'll be good to go. Appreciate it. Just get it done. Has a question, says full PPR starting Eckler, Pollard, CD, Diggs. Okay, so you got pretty star options there. Debating to flex and or tight end Walker, Dobbins, Mike Williams. Okay, so if you're, is it a full PPR? Yeah, it's a full PPR. Walker, Dobbins, and Mike Williams. I'm probably not starting Mike Williams there. I honestly probably just play Dobbins against Atlanta. As for your follow-up, Schultz, Hill, or Njoku at the tight end position. Bad starting 3 Cowboys. Is it bad to start 3 Cowboys? In this instance, I would say probably not. As much as it is a little sketchy, the only reason I would 100% say, hey, you can play Taysom Hill over a guy like Dalton Schultz, if in fact we get to a situation, because we know that Jarvis Landry is already out this week, but if we get to a situation where someone like Chris Olave is also going to be missing, then at that point I'd feel comfortable starting him over Schultz. Otherwise, I think he's probably your best play at the position, because I don't really love the idea of playing Njoku against that Saints defense. They've really good this season and in seasons past in terms of covering tight ends and shutting that down. CB follows up by saying full PPR. I have Pollard, Mixon versus New England. Kamara, lowest over under in 14 years. What's the lowest over under? What do you mean by that? As in the game itself between Cleveland and New Orleans? Is that what you're referring to? And Pacheco needs and Pacheco, I need 2 running backs and a flex. Also, I have Pittman on my bench for the flex spot. Okay, so I have Pollard, Mixon, Kamara, and Pacheco. Got it. At this point, I'm playing the 3 studs, right? I'm probably leaning in the direction I want to play Pollard first and foremost against Philly. Then I'll play Kamara second and then Mixon third. I don't love the Mixon play. I'm not really worried about the Kamara yards. I think, again, like I mentioned earlier this week, Cleveland's given up, I think, since week 10, a 6.04 yard per carry average to opposing running backs. So it's kind of hard not to play Kamara, especially coming off a week where he had 21 rushing attempts, the second highest number of his season thus far. So I'd lean in the direction of probably playing, Mixon, Pollard, and Kamara this week. Thank you. Trojan 3659 says, how's it going, Andrew? It's going pretty well. I need help with a standard format, wide receiver 2, Moore or Slayton. I'll play DJ Moore there. Okay, primary reason, okay? And something I didn't mention on Wednesday's video, but I'll go ahead and kind of divulge a little bit more information on the matter right now. DJ Moore, and I can confirm this just by giving you exact statistics. Let me go pull up my my document. Let's go find Mr. DJ Moore on the F3 function. Maybe it's not going to work. Ooh, did I spell this wrong or am I on the wrong panel? There it is. Okay. So DJ Moore, since we have seen Sam Darnold kind of take over within this offense, is slowly but surely playing a little bit more in the slot position, which, again, a pretty good overall showing. If he continues to play more in the slot and gets a lot of utilization there, the primary reason why I want to play him is because, number one, Detroit's secondary is awful. Doesn't matter where you're playing on the outside or whether you're playing in the slot position. If he gets more utilization in the slot at the capacity which he's been able to see with Sam Darnold, by all means, we have ourselves a situation here where he's got probably the best matchup of the given week at the wide receiver position outside of anybody going up against Minnesota, which typically in terms of talent comparative to the matchup itself, that's not the greatest in comparison to what we have available. I mean, again, when you look at some of the better matchups at the position, going up against Minnesota or Tennessee or Buffalo, it doesn't really present too many great options, right? We're talking about Houston wide receivers, New York Giants wide receivers, and what's it called? Chicago Bears wide receivers, for goodness sake. So at this point, I would say DJ Moore probably is the most attuned player for the matchup, kind of setting himself up for success there. As for your follow-up there, Trojan, Pacheco, Rashad White, David Montgomery, DJ Moore, or Slayton. Okay, so yeah, Moore would be your wide receiver 2, and in your flex, I'm playing Pacheco most likely. Do I play Pacheco over Montgomery? Yeah, I'd probably play Pacheco over Montgomery in a standard format, especially with the return of Khalil Herbert within the lineup. I think Khalil Herbert will be limited to a capacity. He's not going to come in and get 10 touches immediately. I could be wrong in that standpoint, but we typically see players come back from IR and slowly be integrated within the offense. He's not going to get that big of a workload and or dig too much, but I still like the matchup of Pacheco against the Seahawks. Final question, Graham Gano or Chase McLaughlin? Someone needs to remind me. I think they both play indoors. I think Chase, they both play indoors because he's playing in Minnesota. So At this point, where's my rankings? I'm pretty sure I have Chase McLaughlin slightly ahead of. No, I don't. I have Graham Gano as my number 6 kicker this week, and I have Chase McLaughlin as my number 8. I know why I moved them to 8 because Nick Foles is starting at quarterback this week for the Colts, so that shakes it up just a little bit in terms of potential. Bucks or Tennessee defense. As of right now, I have Bucks as my number 3 and Tennessee as my number 6. So, I mean, I do really like the idea of playing the Buccaneers defense against Trace McSorley. I think that is a recipe for success, in my opinion. Sam Pearson sends in a super chat. Says, start Latavius Murray or Michael Pittman Jr., half PPR, upside, and floor. Probably leaning towards playing Latavius Murray there. I mean, I like Nick Foles. I think he's a good quarterback. I just don't know if the synergy is going to be there with Michael Pittman on an instant basis to where he can immediately come in and elevate him to being a stable enough option in comparison, which in my mind, I'm thinking anybody going up against the LA Rams is going to score. And I think in the case of Latavius Murray coming off a huge week there where he's demonstrating that he needs more and more touches every week, I think Latavius kind of takes the cake there. With Russell Wilson back, obviously that leads to even more receptions out of the backfield. We've seen a huge increase in comparison between the two quarterbacks in Denver. When Russell Wilson plays, the targets can consistently go up for running backs. Riff sends in a question, says PPR pick 3.5 PPR scoring format. We have Higgins, we have Lenny, we have White, we have Sanders, we have Godwin. At this moment, I'm probably leaning towards going Godwin, Higgins, and then leaning towards just playing Sanders. Yeah, I'll roll with those 3. I don't want to split up Lenny or White because I feel like there is a conversation to be had there. Either of them could be the play, and the other one could just completely disappear in the contest. I think there's a higher likelihood of Leonard Fournette having the better game because of the goal line work and the receiving work. But yeah, for right now, I'd go with Godwin, Higgins, and Sanders. Thank you. Boxy says, I need to pick 2, Slayton, DPJ, or Cooper. Goodness gracious. I've heard that the wins in that Cleveland game are going to be disastrous. So that's a question that I'll probably come back to by the time we get to probably Saturday morning. But for right now, yeah, I mean, if it's my team, I'm probably playing DPJ and Cooper. I think Slayton's okay. I just can't guarantee anything out of him, even in a good matchup, because I don't really trust that offense to max capacity. GT Hoven says Purdy or Carr. I have Carr ahead of him in my current rankings. Again, if you guys are interested in tight end and quarterback rankings, right here, boom, boom, this thumbnail to the bottom right, that'll kind of set you up in terms of that. I'm about to get back into the chat again. For those of you who are joining us, welcome. We're going to be here for the next, I'd say probably 45 to 50 minutes in terms of answering fantasy questions, just taking care of a couple super chats that were sent in. I just want to address those, and once we're back, we'll be good to go. I see Joseph Baker. I know Joseph was asking for defensive rankings. I'll get to him. I'll be more than happy to share that with you guys in terms of as soon as we're finished answering a couple more of these questions. Rusty Wright says, semis for both my leagues, but I had Jalen Hurts in both of them. In a half PPR scoring format, J.K. Watson or Juju? J.K. Okay, well, where's the quarterback question? Because I'm curious why we mentioned Hurts if there's not a quarterback question here. Andrews or Waddle, or... So there's no quarterback question. Okay, very well, Rusty. So let's just answer this first and foremost. If it's between Watson, Juju, and J.K. Dobbins going into this week, I'm probably playing... I'm probably playing Juju Smith-Schuster there out of the 3. In a full PPR between Waller and Andrews, I'm probably playing Waller. No, I'll play Andrews. I'll just stick with the Andrews play in a full PPR. And then moving on to Waddle or Godwin, I'll take Godwin there. There's also Allen or J-Mac. Oh, God, Jerick McKinnon. Goodness gracious. If it's between Godwin or Jerick McKinnon in a full PPR scoring format, I kind of want to play Jerick McKinnon, but I think it's just too difficult to do. So I'll just probably play Godwin there just to be safe. So again, the answers are Juju, Andrews, and Godwin. I'd like to play Jerick, but it's too difficult. I feel like there's an obvious play that okay, before I start scrambling over my words, he needs to be played, right? So I highly doubt that there are 2 players in your lineup unless you have 2 top 7 RBs in a full PPR format in which that guy is sitting in your flex. Because in my mind, he needs to be played. But the fact of the matter is I really do highly value Godwin, especially against Arizona without Byron Murphy. Without Byron Murphy there, it just makes Godwin an automatic like 20 points in my mind in a full PPR. Trojan, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Ashley says, Moss in the waivers slash and or Slayton. Yeah, I'd rather have Zach Moss off waivers. Thank you. Paris Lark says, hit on Ingram. Thanks. Pick 2, Higgins, Mike Williams, or Kittle. I will probably lean towards playing Higgins and Kittle. Thank you. Sip says, awesome work, Andrew. Thanks. Pick 2, wide receiver 2 and 2 flex options. We have DJ, we have Waller, we have Slayton, we have Watson, we have Montgomery, Pickens, Chark. Okay, so of the available there, I'll play DJ Moore as the wide receiver 2. I'll play Christian Watson as a flex, and I'll follow up by also playing David Montgomery as a flex. Thank you. As for your follow-up, switch Dallas with the Rams and Myers with Badgley. I mean, based on my rankings, I have the Rams at 12. I have Dallas at 9, so I'd rather have the Dallas defense this week. And then Myers and Badgley, I have Myers at 5 and Badgley at 7. So probably just keep what you have in that circumstance there, Sip. Thank you. All right, guys. We've caught up with that. Let me go ahead. Let's see what's going on here, shall we? So after Sip, we had Raheem Mostert. PPR, happy holidays. What's going on? What do you mean, Raheem Mostert? Raheem Mostert should be a good play. I mean, I'm assuming that's going to be the case. Mr. 1972 Dean says, I switched out Okonkwo with Evan Ingram last minute, and boom, luck was on my side. I don't think it's really luck. I'm telling you, Evan Ingram's been a stud for the last 4 weeks now. It's not a matter of luck. It's just a matter of incredible matchup and, the guy's getting his targets. I mean, you go and you look at earlier today's episode, again, bottom right thumbnail, and you look at how many points the Jets have given up to opposing tight ends over the course of the last 5-6 weeks now. They're in that top of the conversation in terms of giving up points. So it was an advantageous matchup based on the fact that, of course, there's nowhere really else to go with the ball. If you're not going to throw it to the outside receivers, and he didn't even look towards Christian Kirk in the slot, Evan Ingram dominated elsewhere from the inline and the slot himself. So pretty good play. I wouldn't consider that luck. And it's definitely smart to pivot off Okonkwo, especially considering Malik Willis is the quarterback there this week. They don't even have Ryan Tannehill. So well done, Mr. Dean. Rockstar's Vibe says pick 2, Cooper, Watson, Mostert. I'd probably play these 2. Watson and Mostert. Thank you. Aaron Jones or T. Higgins in the flex? Probably Aaron Jones. Pacheco or Judy in a PPR? That's a really good question. If Pacheco I'd probably say if Cortland Sutton is active, 100% active, and he's not going to miss the game, I'd play Judy there. I think Judy could very easily score himself 15 fantasy points in his sleep without scoring a touchdown in that given matchup. So I'll take Judy in that circumstance. If in fact Cortland Sutton is inactive and he's not playing, I'd expect him to get Jalen Ramsey covering him the whole day, and then I'd pivot to Pacheco. The issue with this scenario is, hopefully we'll know before Sunday, because I know Pacheco plays on Saturday and Judy plays on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. So there's that full day of a difference there in terms of figuring out whether he's going to be active. By tomorrow, we'll have a better indication in terms of the practice report that's like officially ran by the organization themselves. So at that point, we should probably have a full idea as to whether or not Cortland will be going. Thank you. All right, let's see here. We had a question from Vash. Says, you'd rather flex Christian Watson over Jamal Williams, Deontay Foreman, or Brian Robinson? Absolutely, yes. 100%. Doesn't matter even the scoring format, whether it's standard, half PPR, full PPR. I do not want to play these 3 running backs. Deontay Foreman first and foremost because he plays against the Detroit Lions. That's a disaster of a matchup. Brian Robinson against the 49ers. That's another disaster. And Jamal Williams without a touchdown is probably 3 to 5 points in a given week. In the last 3 consecutive weeks, his rushing totals have been 33, 37, and 35. Not too interested in playing him unless, again, he's going to double up on touchdowns and carry us in that regard. I'd rather just play the upside of Watson going against the Miami matchup. My starting running backs are Henry and Mostert. Yeah, this right here, Henry, this week, 35 points. Congratulations, Vash. You're getting to the next round of the playoffs. Drawing Learning says, pick 3, Connor, Jacobs, Pollard, or Aaron Jones. At this point, Jacobs, Pollard, and Aaron Jones are they are the best plays. Because Trace McSorley is for sure the quarterback there, it does present a little bit more of a sketchy approach when we talk about Connor, especially considering the fact that he takes on Tampa Bay. If they get Vita Vea back and he's healthy and ready to go, it could definitely force a little bit of trouble with him. So, yeah, I think the 3 other options you have in comparison are simply just must-starts. Let's see here. Ayuk, Algier, Palmer, or Drake London in a full PPR. Out of this group, I think, let me think about this. So they play against Baltimore. Marlon Humphreys will most likely be covering Drake London. I mean, I don't mind that, but I don't love it either. It's between Algier and Drake at this point. I think I'm probably thinking that Algier, if he doesn't find the end zone, can be like a 7-point guy. But in a full PPR, I'd rather just lean towards Drake London there. If we're just assuming no one scores touchdowns and it's a lower scoring game. Peace Dog, what's up? Says pick 3, wide receiver 2, RB3, or sorry, wide receiver 2, RB2 in a flex. DeAndre Hopkins, Waddle, Mixon, Walker, Pacheco, Montgomery, point per first down. Okay, that makes it a little bit different in terms of calculations. I'd love to be able to look up all these guys and figure out how many points per week they get in a point per first down league, but I don't play in any, so I'd have to do some extra research on the side in regards to that to really get you an answer. But I would assume if I was just playing it by ear and these guys are getting similar numbers in terms of first downs, I'm probably playing Waddle at wide receiver 2. I'm leaning towards the idea of playing Mixon as your RB2 and then probably Pacheco as your flex. That's kind of the direction I'm leaning in. David Montgomery, D-Hop, or Marquise Goodwin in a half PPR start 1. In a half PPR scoring format, I'm probably going to play David Montgomery there. Thank you. We had a couple more super chats sent in. Rockstar says, DeAndre Hopkins, Dobbins, Swift in a full PPR. I'd probably venture to say that DeAndre Hopkins is... It's between him and Dobbins. I don't really want to play Swift in that capacity. I'm thinking to myself, DeAndre Hopkins, based on the target volume that he had from Trace McSorley on Sunday once he came into the game, will most likely be in a scenario where he catches the ball like 7-8 times, maybe gets himself 60 to 80 yards. He could very easily be a 16-point quarterback. 16-point wide receiver. My brain is already jumbled within the week. In comparison to Dobbins, who needs to find the end zone, he probably gets himself another 100-plus yard game. The end zone is the ever-elusive part of this entire conversation, especially his breakaway speed not being there. So I'm leaning towards D-Hop at the moment. Foolish TV says J.K. Dobbins or Fournette. I'll take Dobbins there. Thank you. The Real G Squared says, is there a strategy for the gauntlet? I don't know. Great question. Speaking of, if you guys haven't yet already, there's a link down in the description for PrizePicks. If you guys haven't checked them out and you're trying to pick more or less on given player statistics, put together some entries, you can check that out today. There's a link, again, down in the description. Currently, at this moment in time, they have the 12 days of Pickmas going on in terms of a promotion, so you can go ahead and check that out today. In terms of, again, every single day, brand new promotion. You can take advantage of it by going ahead, traveling to the website. Use promo code Andrew today when you make that first time deposit because it's immediately doubled up to $100. Thank you very much. I'm pretty sure today's entry was pretty ridiculous. I don't know how it's going to work, but I'm sure they have more details on the site for those of you who are interested in kind of learning more about that. And of course, taking advantage of it. I will. Let me pull up a couple things here. I actually wanted to show you guys some things. I'm not even joking, and I've showed you guys this in the past. As of late, I have found more in my mind. I found it a lot easier to find success when I am messing around with NBA overall picks in terms of more or less. Like significantly easier in terms of the overall approach to it. I'll show you guys in just a moment here. Let's see here. So if I go, let's bring down this Pickmas and let's open up this. All right, here we go. So display capture. All right, so earlier this week, okay, this was literally yesterday, Andrew had a 5-leg entry via PrizePicks, and all we needed was Luka Doncic to score 31 points. That's all I needed. All I needed on a $5 to get, 10x my overall entry. Luka Doncic kills me. Okay, so be it. A little bit earlier in the day, I put together another one. Giannis Antetokounmpo going more on his points, and so did Dennis Schroeder, of course. Whenever Anthony Davis is not playing, there's potential. That's why I had, Dennis Schroeder here. I had Thomas Bryant here. I had Giannis here. So I already expected these guys to play well, but I wanted to kind of add a little bit more to it. But again, Luka Doncic selling Andrew down the drain. I mean, I'm hitting on everything. Luka Doncic just doesn't want to show up for Andrew. It is what it is. But hey, again, I think playing PrizePicks for the NBA, considering it's every single day and there's a consistency to that in comparison to the NFL, which is like Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You know what I mean? Like, sure, the weekends are all NFL, but the weekdays, that in my mind is kind of dominated by the NBA. I didn't put in any entries today considering I was busy, but certainly we'll get back into that soon enough. All right, let me go ahead. Let's get back to answering some questions in the YouTube chat. Put down this display capture. Let's bring back this, and we're good to go. Okay, So I did see a couple questions here from Jay. Jay, what's up? Says, hey, Andrew, 2 questions. Non-PPR, pick 2 running backs, Ramondre, Kamara, Walker. I'll take these 2, Ramondre and Kamara. Then choose a flex remaining running back or Christian Watson or Devonta Smith. In a standard scoring format, non-PPR, I'd probably just play Kenneth Walker there in the flex. Devonta Smith with the backup quarterbacks a little bit, and with Goddard back, it's less likely to potentially trust him in his upside. And Christian Watson probably has similar sort of upside as Walker. I'll just take Walker there because he has the guaranteed touches on board there. Thank you very much, Jay. Appreciate it. Walker or McKinnon? Yeah, I'll take McKinnon this week. Moss or Fournette? I'll take Fournette. Hey, Andrew, I made it and won the first round. I need 1 wide receiver, Isaiah Hodgins or Russell Gage or Marquise Goodwin. I'll take Marquise Goodwin out of that group. Also, tight end Cole or Juwan Johnson. Juwan Johnson for sure. Again, he's played extremely well. As long as he is on a hot streak and they continue to send the ball in his direction, it is difficult for me not to start him, especially considering Cole Kmet has to take on the Bills. Don't love that. So, yeah, Juwan Johnson's the play there in my mind. What's up, Javier? Hope you're doing well. Full PPR, K9 or Juju? In a full PPR, I'll take Juju. Rachaad White or Mike Williams in a full PPR? I'm probably leaning towards Mike Williams there. I'm in the championship round. Oof, that's tough, my man. That's tough. McPherson or Gano? I have McPherson ahead of him. We got to keep an eye on the weather there, though. The weather could be a concern, which makes us less likely to feel comfortable playing McPherson if that becomes a factor. Gano's playing indoors in Minnesota, so then we pivot to that. Hit the like button. Thank you very much, Javier. Yeah, again, if you guys have not yet already, do me a favor. Click that like button. Takes 2 seconds out of your day. Greatly appreciate that. Thank you. All right, we had a couple more super chats sent in. Joey B says, hey, how are you, my friend? I'm doing well, Joey. Thank you. Appreciate it. Would you start the Bucs or Broncos defense this week? I prefer the Bucs. I have the Bucs currently. You know what? I did mention this. Let's go over my top 12 defenses as it stands currently, okay? So, of the remaining defenses that are there, because again, I got to get rid of the Jets and the Jaguars, who were both in my rankings. I had Jets at 10 and I had Jaguars at 11, just for purposes. Number 1, 49ers. Number 2, Buffalo Bills. Number 3, Tampa Bay Bucks. Number 4, Denver Broncos. Number 5, Baltimore Ravens. 6 is Tennessee Titans. 7 is Cleveland Browns. 8 is Cincinnati Bengals. 9 is the Cowboys. And then now our new number 10, considering there's no Jets and Jaguars, would be the Rams at 10. Don't have anybody else, but we'll add to that once we get to Saturday's live stream in the morning and talking about that. So in your circumstance, you have 2 really good options in terms of defense. I prefer the Bucs against an inexperienced quarterback in comparison to, of course, the Broncos versus Baker. We get 2 points per sack. Your show is the best on the platform. Thank you very much, Joey. I appreciate that, my man. Bees787 says, pick 1 running back and 1 flex from a full PPR scoring format. We have Pacheco, Swift, Deion Jackson, Palmer, and Moss. I'll take Pacheco for sure as the RB1. And I'll most likely lean towards playing in a full PPR. That's interesting. I kind of want to play Swift there. That's probably what I'll suggest you play. Swift in the flex there. So Pacheco and Swift. Thank you. Paris Lark says, I need 2 wide receivers and a flex. We have Gabe Davis. We have Devonta Smith. We have Drake London, Gerald Everett, Deion Jackson, Marquise Goodwin, and Demarcus Robinson. Thanks. Yeah, Demarcus Robinson would be a better play if Lamar was back, but unfortunately he's not, and it's going to be Tyler Huntley. Therefore, if I'm suggesting players out of the group that you have available, it's Devonta Smith and Drake London there. Thank you. Ignacio Reyes. Oh, yeah, also, you need an additional flex. Your flex out of that group is most likely, in my mind, going to be Deion Jackson. Thank you. Ignacio Reyes says, pick 2. Deion Jackson, sorry, that's Deontay Johnson. My apologies. Zach Moss, Donovan Peoples-Jones, or Drake London. Out of the group, assuming we're talking about like a half PPR scoring format, it would most likely be playing Zach Moss alongside Donovan Peoples-Jones. If it's a full PPR, I'd probably opt away from playing Zach Moss, and I'd most likely play Drake London with Donovan Peoples-Jones there. Thank you. Paris Lark says, smash the like button. Happy holidays. Thank you very much, Paris. And then we had Marion Garcia says, full PPR, pick 2, Latavius Murray, Mike Williams, Zach Moss, Devonta Smith. Latavius Murray, Zach. Okay. Out of the group, Devonta Smith for sure, in my mind, is someone that I want to play there, and I'll probably play him alongside Latavius Murray. Thank you. Charles R says, half PPR, Kirk busted. Yep, certainly. Help. Pacheco, McKinnon, or Connor. Yeah, I'm playing McKinnon there. Yeah, I've adjusted accordingly. I'll take McKinnon over Connor and Pacheco this week. Thank you. Anthony Cervantes. Let me see here. Anthony, where is your question at? That's a different Anthony. Okay, you know what? Let me update to the bottom of the screen here, and let's see where Anthony Cervantes. No, that's Anthony Y. Anthony U. Okay, Mr. Cervantes says, "Am I starting AJ Brown over Keenan Allen?" No. I also have Amon-Ra St. Brown and Godwin. Yeah, no, you're not. You're starting Keenan Allen this week. I mean, that's what I would at least suggest, considering there's no Kenny Moore. Now, if Kenny Moore does come back, even in that case, I'd probably still play Keenan Allen. I think there's just a little bit more stability there at the rotation. Thank you. All right, let's see here. Where are we at? So, yeah, he definitely did. He definitely did. McKinnon or Walker? Yeah, I'll take McKinnon over Walker. Heck no. I mean, hey, for the same reason that perhaps Bam busted, you should be worried about Walker. Okay? Just be careful. Just be careful. If the matchup doesn't go well and they get into a situation where they're down early and they can't run the ball in the second half, it may become a problem for Walker in its entirety. That's primarily what typically happens with running backs going up against Kansas City, is they kind of disappear. You know what I mean? Mark Andrews, Brown, Robinson in a standard. I mean, I'm probably playing Mark Andrews, right? Because if this is Brown, that's Hollywood Brown, not interested, and Brian Robinson, also not interested. Happy holidays. I need Taysom to have one of those weeks, yeah. And Jalen, too hurt, yep. Purdy or Russell Wilson. What should I go with? I have Russell Wilson, I think at number 18 at quarterback, or 19. I don't have him ahead of Purdy. I'll tell you that much. Let's see here. Pat Freiermuth, Knox, or Goddard. Again, check out the video right here. You see this one right here? Via the channel. Right now, I currently have Goddard ahead of the bunch. Dulcich, Komet, Fant, Otten. Yep, again, the video in the bottom right will certainly help there. Out of the bunch, I have Komet ranked the highest. Hey, Andrew, tough from our RB1 spot. We have Connor. Even worse, I have an RB2 between Foreman and Robinson, non-PPR. Yeah, you have to play Robinson there. I don't think you can trust Foreman. The unfortunate nature is that Foreman takes on Detroit, and Detroit has been one of the best, if not the best, over the last couple weeks here in terms of stopping stud running backs. So you probably just have to play Brian Robinson and hope they have good enough field position to where he can just jump into the end zone and be fine. Gino or Joe Burrow? Again, yep, the video will answer that, or at least give you my perspective on the matter in terms of establishing that. I do prefer Burrow in the given week with T. Higgins fully healthy. And, of course, we have our situation of Hayden Hurst returning from injury. Let's see here. Ramondre Stevenson or Jerick McKinnon? I would just play Ramondre there at that point. Aaron Rodgers or Minshew? I have Minshew. I know. I understand. I get it. Minshew, in my mind, of all the backups in the National Football League at this current moment, Minshew is probably top 3. He may actually be the best backup in the National Football League. If Jameis wasn't technically a backup, I still do believe that Jameis has got a lot of good football ahead of him. He just needs a team that believes in him, which unfortunately he doesn't have, this season. TJ Hawkinson or Dallas Goedert? I'll take Dallas there. Pick 2.5 PPR, Terry McLaurin, DeAndre Hopkins, A.J. Dillon. Thanks for the work. A.J. Dillon did clear concussion protocol, so he should be fine this week. Out of the group, I would play these two. I'll play Hopkins and A.J. Dillon. Appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see here. Tom says, Standard League, flex, A.J. Dillon, DJ Moore, Fournette, Rachaad White. In a standard scoring format, do I want to play a wide receiver in comparison to one of those running backs? Probably not. I would likely lean towards the direction of playing actually, it's a standard format, so I probably do play A.J. Dillon because I know in a full PPR I have Leonard Fournette just slightly ahead of A.J. Dillon. Slightly. Like, I think I have him literally at 24 in comparison to 25. But yeah, I'll probably play Dillon there in a standard format. Let's see here. Kickers, Joseph, Gano, or Cameron Dicker. I'll play Gano there out of the group. Thank you, Jay. Rank these 4 in order: Walker, Pacheco, Moss, Judy. Assuming it's a half PPR, I'd probably go Pacheco 1, Walker 2, Judy 3, and Zach Moss 4. If it's a full PPR, it probably jumps Judy in Pacheco in that like kind of split scenario where I probably go Judy, Pacheco, Walker, and then Moss. Thank you. Kenneth Walker, Devonta Smith. It's probably safer just to play Kenneth Walker in the given week, especially if we're just talking about half PPR. Again, I don't know what your format is. Pick 2, Mixon, Paul, or Juju. I have A.J. Brown and Diggs. At this point, it's tough not to play Mixon, right? But if you're in a full PPR, I could probably condone this to be a good play of playing Pollard and Juju in the week. Olave looks out. Yeah, he probably is going to be out. So Ayuk, Peoples-Jones, Pittman Jr., or go and grab Deontay off waivers. No, I'd probably just play Pittman out of the group. Yeah. If Olave is going to be out, Taysom Hill is an absolutely significantly better play than we initially anticipated. And Juwan Johnson probably also gets a little bit of a boost. Let's see here. Greg Dulcich or Jordan Akins? I probably play Greg Dulcich. I don't really trust tight ends from the Houston Texans. I know he's been playing decent this season. There's so many tight ends that rotate in that offense. You know, every other week it's a different guy. A.J. Dillon or Jerick McKinnon? I'll take Jerick McKinnon for sure. I mean, what Jerick McKinnon does in terms of reception, 7+ in each of the last 2 weeks in a full PPR makes him an automatic. Got skipped. You should have just typed your question right here, Adrian. Yaribon says, hey, Andrew, start 2 running backs and a flex. Swift, Dobbins, Mostert, Marquise Brown, or Slayton. Dobbins is my RB1. Mostert is my RB2. And I'm going to play Swift in the flex. So all 3 of the running backs are the guys I'm playing. I'm going to sit Marquise Brown with Trace McSorley, and I'll sit Slayton there as well. Full PPR, Hollywood Brown or Goddard. I'll take Goddard this week. Constantino, what's up? Hope you're doing well. Says Goff or Minshew this week. Also, Dak or Danny Dimes. Yeah, I have Goff ahead of Minshew, and I have Dak ahead of Danny Dimes. Thank you. Anonymous says, sup, Andrew. JT screwed me. How your team's doing? My teams are doing just fine. Again, we've got a good, solid amount that are in the next round. I only actually, of all 16 leagues, I think I only had 2 missed playoffs. Again, when you're playing in leagues that, especially the more friendly leagues, that it's like, oh, it's a 12-team league. 8 teams make the playoffs. In those friendly ones, it's fine. But like, I also have leagues where it's like 12-team league, only 4 make the playoffs. You know what I mean? And I'm in. So there's some tough ones there, but either way, so far so good. We just gotta hope that some of the injuries and some of these scenarios here aren't going to affect us too roughly. Let's just hope that everything kind of goes smoothly this week. Again, here's the thing. I've played so much fantasy in my life. Even if I lose every single league this year, I wouldn't even care. Like, I've gotten so numb to winning and losing in fantasy that it's not fun anymore. All I literally care about, and I've told you guys this before, I just care if you guys win. That's all I want. I just want you guys to win. Because it's fantastic to win league championships. It really is. The bragging rights, everything. I've experienced it enough to where I'm like, yeah, let's the efforts don't really matter in terms of the result, in terms of what I end up getting out of it, because I just play for fun at this point with friends and stuff like that. Ryan Lewis says Foles, Baker, McSorley, or Mostert in a superflex format. I would play Foles there in a superflex. I like Mostert a lot. I just don't know if I can trust him to get more than like 15, 16 points, which I think Foles will most likely do, because Foles can come out, throw for 220 and a passing touchdown, no turnovers, end up with 8, 9, 10, 14. And then if he gets anything more, he's probably in a really good spot, especially if he throws a second touchdown in garbage. Like, Mostert, I mean, he could be an 18-point player. Don't get me wrong. He could certainly do it. I just think like Foles is just slightly there to mess him up. If in fact Jeff Wilson's inactive, I'll just play Mostert, but otherwise it's Foles. Superflex, Hurts is out. Foles or Ritter, I'll take Foles. I don't trust Ritter against Baltimore. I mean, based on what he did against New Orleans, I can't play him this season. So I'll play Foles there. Let's not forget, guys, Foles hasn't played as a starting quarterback for a team in a while, but if you go back to last season when he played for Chicago, he came in on a random week 15 against the Seattle Seahawks, and he was incredible. And he played well, and he actually won them that game against Seattle. So Nick Foles still got a lot left in the tank there. The only reason he just hasn't been on a team that's of any relevancy as of late is because his contract has been a little bit wild, and teams have had to pay for that. Would you start both Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon in my starting lineup this week? I don't mind it. It just depends. Is he the best available player? Because that's purely the question. Mixon, Dobbins, or Jerick McKinnon, start 2 in a PPR. I'm probably starting Dobbins and McKinnon. Yeah, I would. Kamara or McKinnon in a full PPR, I'd play McKinnon there. Kamara doesn't get receiving work, or at least not enough of a volume to, in comparison, favor him over the likes of Jerick McKinnon. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. I am. Thank you. Hope you are as well. I know you're already talking I know I'm already talking crazy, but do I start Mike Evans or Marquise Goodwin in a flex full PPR? You're not insane. You're not crazy for even questioning this. I could understand why. If Mike Evans doesn't score a touchdown, Marquise Brown probably outscores him. And that's not even a hot take. It's probably a fact. We just have to hope he finds the end zone if we're even considering it. In a full PPR, it's probably in your best. I mean, I couldn't even suggest playing Mike Evans, but I'll say I wouldn't be surprised if you did. I'll tell you that much. Mixon or McKinnon? Yeah, McKinnon's a top 10 running back in a full PPR from my perspective, guys. Appreciate it. My opponent has Josh Allen and Jefferson. I'm scared. Nate, what do you have? Do you have any Warriors on your side that we can at least kind of hide behind while those guys tear up the fantasy box score? If Walker is out, he's not going to be. He's going to play today. I mean, he's going to play this week. Rachaad White, Dotson, or Goodwin, yeah, again, he's going to play. It was confirmed earlier today via report, so I'm not too worried about it. So we don't have to worry about all that kind of pivoting options. Let's see here. What happened to Bam Knight? I mean, it's not a matter of what happened to Bam Knight. What happened to the Jets, right? And the answer is pretty clear in my mind. Zach Wilson happened to the Jets today. So, yeah, unfortunate. Definitely unfortunate to say the least. Saw a couple more super chat sent in. Let me go ahead and address them really quickly. Rico Baptiste, what's up? Hope you're doing well. Says, should I flex Taysom, London, or Rachaad White? If in fact Chris Olave is going to be out, I would consider playing Taysom Hill in a half PPR scoring format standard in your flex position there. If it is a full PPR, I think I just have to play Drake London. Before Rico Baptiste, there was a question from JK. Says, full PPR, I decided to go with Higgins over ETN in my flex. Did I make the right choice? Time will tell. I think you'll be fine. Especially if you're playing in a full PPR, which you are. I think you'll be fine. Full PPR, what did ETN just put up? 15? I mean, under the assumption that Higgins continues his streak and scores another touchdown this week. Again, he's already on a 3-game streak of scoring touchdowns. Assuming he scores a touchdown this week, he probably will be an equal play. I don't think it'll be a mistake by the end of the week, though. Muth or Waller as your follow-up question there, JK? I would say Waller for sure. Thank you. Appreciate it. We had another question by play-by-play. Says McKinnon or Keenan Allen in a full PPR. I probably lean towards playing McKinnon because he has higher touchdown upside effectively. Keenan Allen most likely catches the ball, 9-10 times for, 90-80 yards. He's going to be a 20-point player, and I think if McKinnon's overall receiving work and his reception count is going to be as, whether it's 5, 6, 7, 8, something of that range, he probably outscores Keenan Allen, which is crazy, but the touchdown upside certainly makes a difference in the fact that the Seattle Seahawks cannot stop the run, nor can they stop, running backs out of the backfield as of late. Paris Lark says Njoku or Everett. I'll probably take Njoku if he clears and shrugs off his questionable tag this week. Tom V says standard. Okay, we took care of Tom's question. Good to go. Thank you. Appreciate it. Mustafa sends a question. Thank you very much. Says, who do I start? Who are the 3 running backs I should start out of the potential following? We have Pollard, Walker, Aaron Jones, Chubb. I would play Pollard, Aaron Jones, and Chubb. Thank you. Jeff Carpenter says full PPR. Who to flex? Latavius Murray or Amari Cooper. In a full PPR scoring format, even if the weather is not bad, I think I'd probably play Latavius Murray there. Also, what defense should I play? Lions, Chiefs, or Rams? I'll play the Rams out of those 3. Thank you. All right. Awesome. Glad I could catch up to those. Let me go ahead and scroll back down to the bottom. Minshew or Daniel Jones? I mean, again, this is a coin flip. I think they're both eligible to be starters this week and probably both play well. It's kind of tough, though. I think the Daniel Jones matchup is certainly easier, which makes it a little bit more of a kind of easier option considering he's played all season long in comparison to Minshew who's coming off the bench. So I'll probably lean towards Daniel Jones there slightly. Dan says, hey, Andrew, full PPR, sit 1, Chubb, Jones, Ramondre, McKinnon. If I'm sitting 1 in a full PPR, it's Chubb. Where did your question go? Dan, I would play Aaron Jones, Ramondre, and McKinnon out of these 4. I would sit Nick Chubb, which seems a little crazy, huh? But at the current moment in time, the way that McKinnon has been playing, his effectiveness, the volume of touches he's getting, it's too difficult not to kind of keep him in your lineup there. Scott says, full PPR. I have to start Zach Moss or Deion Jackson. In a full PPR scoring format, I think maybe Deion Jackson's... you know what? Deion Jackson could be utilized. I'm just, I'm not 100% certain as to what the heck is going to turn out from that backfield. I can assume what's going to happen and hope that, once, streamlined running back gets all the touches. I would venture to say that Deion Jackson is still going to be an active part, enough to where in a full PPR, I'd even consider him over Zach Moss. Don't have him ranked as such, but I'm considering it. Your follow-up is, I have Marquise Brown in this slot. If Goodwin, I have Marquise Goodwin in this. What do you mean with the slot? In the flex? If Goodwin is out, would I be nuts to put the Colts back in my flex? Is Marquise Goodwin injured? If he's on the injury report, I actually want to know this. Let me check real quick. Injury report, Seattle Seahawks. Who is... Okay, let's see here. Marquise Goodwin did not practice today. Ooh, wowie. Okay, so he could actually miss this week. So in your circumstance, who is your next best option? Because my immediate suggestion was going to be that you probably are going to have to play Zach Moss this week. And if you don't have anybody else that's even remotely close, I guess you have to play Deion Jackson in your flex, which isn't crazy, but it's not... I don't think it's the most efficient thing to do in that regard. Damn, I knew I should have started the Jaguars defense, but I guess I'll have to roll with the Browns. I mean, I have the Browns ranked higher. I think they actually probably play better than Jaguars. I mean, that was under the assumption that, Zach Wilson didn't completely sell the bag, but, hindsight 2020. Come on, guys. We're at 260. It's fine. We're chilling. I appreciate that, Sip. I appreciate the effort. Ayuk or Judy? I'll take Judy there. Happy holidays to you as well, Alvin. Walker, with the injury, or Dobbins? It's Dobbins. Even with or without the injury, I'm not worried about it. It's just a matter of Dobbins just playing better in a better matchup, getting more opportunities, and the game script is in his favor in comparative. I'll take Mike Williams here. Bacon. We're going to get to that in a second. No problem, Dan. Walker or... Yeah, okay, we took care of that. Jared, you're good to go. Kyrie says, damn, yeah, okay, we took care of that. Why not Kenneth Walker? In what scenario? I don't even know what you're referring to. Because the thing about Kenneth Walker is, as much as I do like him, you got to understand that when you play against the Chiefs, running the ball doesn't become as much of a priority as it typically is, because it's really tough to keep up with them, especially if your offense is down Tyler Lockett and they start to struggle early. It could be a disaster and could abandon the running game early if in fact that's the case. All right, let me see here. A couple super chats that were sent in. We had one from G Squared, says J-Jet or Cheetah in a full PPR. As of right now, I have J-Jet ranked higher. I know you're trolling, G Squared, but yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. We have a question from Bacon. Says full PPR, Walker, Rashad White, Ayuk, or Njoku. Out of those group of players, yeah, I'd probably play Kenneth Walker there. I don't really trust David Njoku until he shreds that tag, and even then, I don't really like him against the Saints this week. Ayuk hasn't really been utilized much with Purdy in the offense, and Rashad White is a garbage time player, and if it never gets to garbage time and it's a close enough matchup, then at that point, I don't think he's going to be as valuable as Walker, so we'll just take the stud play of Walker there. What is this message that it's asking me to hide it? That's interesting. You even blurted out yourself, Ollie, and it wanted me to block it. I mean, that's okay. It doesn't matter. That's not a big deal to me. Half PPR Swift Pittman with Nick Foles. At this point in a half PPR scoring format, you probably play Michael Pittman. I don't love it, but it's probably better than Swift at this point. Swift has to find the end zone in order to be a 10-point player, unless he's going to get himself 6 or 7 catches. He can do it, but against Carolina, it's less of a likelihood that he's in that kind of role, considering the matchup and the way that game is going to run, in my mind at least. So I probably just play Pittman there. I don't love the Pittman matchup. I think the Los Angeles Chargers secondary is really underrated. Over the course of the last, I think weeks 10 through 15, they have, against opposing quarterbacks, allowed the fewest, they've allowed the lowest passing completion percentage to opposing quarterbacks since week 10. So their secondary's played extremely well, and I think they'll continue to do so even against Nick Foles. Burrow or Fields, I'll take Fields there. Freiermuth or Njoku, I'll take Freiermuth. Again, guys, there's a video right here with Gardner Minshew on the thumbnail. It was posted earlier today before the game. If you guys are interested in quarterback and tight end rankings in terms of getting the top 16 of both those categories, talking about matchups, giving you guys, the overall basis of who has the most advantageous matchups based on fantasy points allowed since week 10. Hopefully that video can help you out. Again, there's timestamps in the description if you're looking for a specific player. Or the little meter on the bottom, the little, the timeline. I also include the timeline tags there. So if you guys are interested, you can just find a specific player that way. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to answer a couple more questions and then we're out. I know it's a shorter stream, but with so many games on Saturday, Andrew's got to keep everything at an accelerated pace. There's a reason why, if those of you who've maybe commented in the comment section in the last couple of days, I haven't responded in comparison to prior weeks. I'm going to try to go ahead and get into that probably later tonight, but got a lot of things to catch up on. So a couple more questions here, and then your boys got to go. Again, I'll be back on Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time with updated rankings on screen like we do every Sunday morning. But again, this time will be on Saturday morning prior to the incredible slate of games that we have on Christmas Eve. And then the following morning, Christmas Day, I will be live at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on the channel. So if you guys are interested, swing on by. For those of you who have players that are in the Sunday slate of games, again, a reminder as to the Sunday slate of games. We have, and I quote, the Green Bay versus Dolphins in the morning, followed by Denver versus the LA Rams, and then we have the Buccaneers versus the Cardinals at the night game. So if we have any questions regarding those players, I will be here on Sunday morning to also answer questions and get you guys squared away. Maybe watch some of that game with y'all. If you guys want to stick on by throughout that morning game, we could definitely go over that as we kind of co-watch it. Outside of that, let me go ahead. We got a couple more questions sent in via Super Chat. Top 10 Central says, I need a flex full PPR, Kenneth Walker or Najee Harris. 1,000% I feel more confident in playing Najee Harris there this week against the Raiders defense that, I mean, Ramondre Stevenson put a number on them. I think Najee Harris could certainly put up at least 15 points in a full PPR against that defense. Paris Lark follows up, says Terrace Marshall over Deion Jackson. No, I don't. As much as I like the matchup up against the Detroit Lions, I don't think I played Terrace Marshall over Deion Jackson. I probably played Deion Jackson in that scenario. Thank you. Okay, let's see here. Let me go ahead. Possibly post defensive rankings. I could just mention them right now. Let's just mention them real quickly. San Francisco number 1, Buffalo number 2, Tampa Bay 3, Denver 4, Baltimore 5, Tennessee Titans 6, Cleveland Browns 7, Cincinnati 8, Dallas 9, Rams 10. Okay, awesome. You're welcome. No problem. Glad I can help. Hopefully that helps. If it doesn't help, we could talk about more of an extended defensive conversation later. Like Garrett Adams says, which defense do I start? Chiefs, who play the Seahawks, or the Saints who play the Browns, or the Texans who play the Titans? Yeah, I'm never going to play the Texans. Absolutely never in the history of a Texans versus Titans games when Derrick Henry is allowed to be running around on the field. Will I ever commit to that? Out of the other options, I'll probably just play the Saints against the Browns. Who would you start in a standard league? Mike Williams, Godwin, or Mixon? I'll probably play... Yeah, I'll probably... I want to play Mixon. I really do. I just don't know if I can trust it, so I probably lean towards Godwin right now. Sergio says, standard wide receiver 2, Thielen, Goodwin, or Devonta Smith. Considering Goodwin didn't even practice today based on what I just saw, Devonta Smith is most likely to play. I don't love it. Thielen scored a touchdown in each of the last 3 consecutive games. Thielen might get the nod for me in a standard scoring format just because of that, because of his 6-point influx potential in comparison. So I'm probably leaning there, but conventional wisdom would just say to play the stud, and at this point it is Devonta Smith. Fournette, White, or Mike Williams? Colts scare me. Yeah, I wouldn't play Mike Williams. I just play Fournette there. Half PPR, Singletary, Pacheco? Yeah, it's Pacheco for sure. Already starting McKinnon, perfect. So you can pretty much gather all the Kansas City work and ensure that you're getting all the fantasy points that are going to probably be, I mean, if I was to venture to say in a half PPR scoring format, Pacheco and McKinnon most likely combined for 30 fantasy points minimum. So I'd like to get all of that, pretty much bottled up. Purdy or Daniel Jones, I'll take Purdy there. Unless it's I'll probably just play Purdy there out of the 2. I lost Hurts. I have Watson on my roster. Options are Pickett, Huntley, Darnold, Foles, Mills. Yeah, out of the group of players, I'm probably playing Deshaun Watson. No problem, Henry. Swift, Dobbins, Waddle, or McKinnon in the flex in a standard format. Probably playing McKinnon there out of the group. Half PPR, do you think I should start David Montgomery, Latavius Murray, Singletary, or Thielen? Thank you very much. Love the channel. No problem, Justin. Out of the group of players that you've mentioned here, Singletary is not really a startable option. Neither is Thielen in comparison to the 2 running backs to get the volume in which they do. I'd like to say that Montgomery's going to be as good as he's been over the course of the last month, putting up, pretty good numbers without Khalil Herbert there. But the issue is they play first and foremost Buffalo, and then we have a conversation of Khalil Herbert coming in and taking work. I'd, for right now, say yes, David Montgomery's most likely the best play. The only issue that I have with Murray, and the reason why I haven't committed to him, is because earlier this week, he hasn't been practicing and or been limited. That, in my mind, is concerning because he may be dealing with an injury, so we'll kind of lean towards David Montgomery and play it safe there. Should I keep Jalen Hurts in case they lose this week? Should I keep Jalen Hurts in case they lose this week? What do you mean by that? Why would you not keep him? I don't understand. Do you know something I don't, Jason? Like, I don't know if he's out for more than 1 week. Me personally, I don't know. So if he's going to be available next week, then you probably would want to keep him to play him, right? GD says, Smith, Dylan, Burks. I'm not playing Burks with Malik Willis. So any receiving option for the Tennessee Titans that is not named Derrick Henry is not an affordable enough. You just can't afford to play it. It doesn't make any sense. So between these two and a full PPR, I probably lean towards AJ Dillon. 3 receptions each of the last 3 weeks. Getting a pretty good volume of rushes. I'll probably go with him as of right now, considering the quarterback switch there. Goddard or Njoku? Goddard. JK or Pacheco? JK Dobbins probably takes the cake there in my mind. Burrow or Fields? I'll take Fields. Again, guys, if you have questions and you need more of an explanation than me just saying this specific player, this video right here hopefully can kind of give you some guidance and or any of the other videos that I posted earlier this week. Thank you. All right, couple more questions here. Then Andrew's got to bounce. We saw another super chat sent in from Mustafa. Says, happy holidays, Andrew. Should I start Michael Pittman Jr. or Amari Cooper in a full PPR? Really good question. Okay. If in fact the weather in the Browns game on Saturday is going to be a nightmare, would probably pivot to Michael Pittman Jr. So at the moment, I'd say let's preface and let's look to potentially play Amari Cooper first and foremost. If by the time we get to Saturday morning something has changed or pivoted, then we'll move to Michael Pittman. Thank you. Alrighty. Let's see here. Because they need one more win. I understand what you're saying, Jason, now. Because if they get one more win, they clinch the number 1 seed in the NFC. That's what you're referring to, right, Jason? So then at that point, they wouldn't be obligated to play him for the remainder of the year. They could just wait and then play him in the playoffs. Now I understand what you're saying. At that point, you probably, I don't expect them to win, so you probably just want to keep him on roster. So yeah, I'd keep him. I don't expect them to beat the Cowboys this week. Not without Jalen Hurts. If they had Jalen Hurts, I'd expect them to win, but unfortunately, he's not available. Montgomery, Fournette, or Pacheco in a full PPR. As of right now, it is probably Montgomery in a full PPR. Najee or Swift? And Najee for sure. Cooper, Swift in a flex full PPR, probably Cooper there. Let's see here. We saw Luis sending the question. Thank you. Dallas Goedert or Jerry Jeudy full PPR? I'll take Jerry Jeudy there. Mixon over, who's that? Monty? Yes, I'd play Mixon over Monty, Justin. Luis sending the question. This will probably be the last super chat. So if you guys have any more, just hold them for Saturday morning. If in fact you're ever going to send one in, you again don't feel obligated to do so. It's greatly appreciated. But again, I'll answer your question regardless, right? I want to help. So whatever way I can do that, it's greatly appreciated. Thank you again, Luis. All right, Luis Becerra says, in a full PPR scoring format, which 2 receivers am I starting? A.J. Brown, Chris Godwin, Keenan Allen, Jalen Waddle. So you basically have a bunch of receivers that are consecutively ranked after one another in my mind. I prefer Chris Godwin. I almost called him Christian Godwin. I prefer Chris Godwin. It's interesting that his name is just Chris. Chris Godwin and Keenan Allen. Those are my 2 suggestions. As for which tight end I would start out of the group that you have, Dalton Schultz and or Dallas Goedert, I would play Dallas Goedert there, even with Hurts out. I mentioned this in today's video in regards to this one right here, boom, boom, bottom right. With Gardner Minshew last season against the New York Jets, Dallas Goedert had the best game of his entire fantasy career of 25.5 fantasy points up against the New York Jets. He had 105 receiving yards, 6 catches, and 2 receiving touchdowns. So, if anything, Mr. Minshew's most likely going to be looking in his direction a lot against the Cowboys defense. That's right, Chad. Minshew mania. That's right. If Murray is out, who would you play? Who would you play, Patterson or Warren? I'd rather play Patterson there if Murray's out. Should I consider starting Cordero Patterson over Murray because of the potential injury or Brian Robinson? Should you consider it? I think it'll only be solidified at that point, Emily, if in fact we get into a situation where tomorrow, because, okay, let me look at this right now just so I can confirm it, just so I'm not like kind of blowing smoke where it doesn't exist. So if I go to the Denver Broncos injury report as of their official website, right, their website, as of earlier today, Latavius Murray did not practice on Thursday, right? So maybe this is a matter of like them just being cautious with him because he did have a limited practice on Wednesday, or he potentially had a setback. We're going to have to figure that out by tomorrow. Tomorrow, if by Friday he has a full designated practice and he's good to go, he's off the injury report, we'd play him because we know that he's probably going to get more opportunity and he's in a better matchup. So we would want to play Latavius, and we're just going to hold out the hope that he can play. But if by the time tomorrow he's limited and they're not 100% certain as to whether he's going to play, and we're going to be put in a Ramondre Stevenson scenario similar to last week, it'll be a little bit more sketchy considering he plays on Sunday. At that point, I would say you probably still want to play him and hold on to Marlon Mack just in case, because then you would just swap Marlon Mack into his position and fire him up on Sunday. Thank you. Minshew over Watson? Yes, I'll take Minshew over Watson. Thank you, Scrubs. I appreciate that. Sutton, Goodwin, or Dotson? I have Goodwin ranked the highest. Again, if he doesn't practice fully tomorrow, Dotson's the play. Thank you. I'm not playing Sutton against Jalen Ramsey. I'm not interested in that. Akers, Algier, or Deion Jackson, full PPR. It's probably Algier out of the group. Hey, Andrew, half PPR. Chubb, Sanders, Dobbins, Deion Jackson, Gibson. Happy holidays. Thank you very much, Jerry. I appreciate that. Happy holidays to everyone. No matter what you celebrate, whether if you don't celebrate anything, let's just hope for a happy Saturday and Sunday of fantasy football. That's really all I'm looking for. I don't really care about the holidays. I mean, I do, but it's a great time of the year. But I really just want my fantasy teams to do well and your teams to do well. That's really what we need to, kind of focus on here. But as for your question, yeah, it's Chubb and Dobbins. Those are the two that I trust the most out of the group. Thank you. Man, I told you not to send any more super chats. All right, we had a question here. It says Titans, Browns, or Buccaneers defense. First of all, thank you for sending in that super chat. It's greatly appreciated. Out of the three defenses that you mentioned, I do prefer the Buccaneers out of the group. Follow-up, matchup is projected to be decided by 1 point. Every point counts. Again, I've mentioned this in the past to y'all. Don't look into projected points. Projections do not matter. I'm telling you they don't. It's just an algorithm set by the whatever website you play on based on the scripts that they run and the projected points by how many points other defenses have scored and all this kind of jazz and all, whatever the heck numbers that they throw in there to find their projections and how well people have played in the past and what a normal person's overall averages on a weekly basis, how many touches they get, all that kind of jazz, fantasy point per touch, all that kind of whatever. But as of right now, yes, I would like to play the Buccaneers defense against Trace McSorley because even though the Titans have a pretty good matchup up against Davis Mills is an experienced quarterback. He can get the job done. He can take the Kansas City Chiefs to overtime, okay? So that kind of gives you an idea. As for the Browns defense, again, Andy Dalton, Taysom Hill, Alvin Kamara, Juwan Johnson, that's all they need and they can beat the Browns, quite frankly. They just need those 4 players to be healthy and active, and they'll be fine. Therefore, we'll take the Buccaneers defense. Bums Playing Basketball sends in a super chat. That's an interesting name. Thank you. Full PPR. I'm desperate. Please help me. Got to start 2. Jahan Dotson. Marquise Hollywood. Sorry, that's Marquise Goodwin. I keep thinking Marquise Hollywood Brown as soon as I see Marquise. Apologies. Tyler Algier. Thanks, Andrew. Okay, cool. Out of this point, if you're starting 2, I'm playing Jahan Dotson. No, actually, here's the thing. In a full PPR scoring format, I would feel comfortable playing Jahan Dotson with Marquise Goodwin. But Marquise Goodwin isn't guaranteed to be healthy. So we're probably looking to just, I think your best bet is probably playing Tyler Algier with Jahan Dotson, most likely, because Marquise Goodwin could miss. And if he does, it'll make it easier for you. But it's probably a safer play to just go Tyler Algier with Jahan Dotson there. Thank you. All right, guys, that'll wrap it up for me. I do appreciate y'all. Again, if you sent in a question, if you typed the question and I wasn't able to answer it, I mean, actually, if you sent in a question, I answered it. But if you were able to type one in this live chat and I wasn't able to get to it, my apologies. Again, tomorrow will be Friday. We'll have a piece of content out. I'm going to go work on kind of the graphics and all that kind of stuff and the script ready for that for tomorrow. But Saturday, again, do not forget, Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Andrew will be live streaming here on the channel for 2 hours, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, PST, guys. I'll be here with updated rankings on screen, ready to go. All that kind of jazz. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Again, we'll also be back on Sunday morning for those of you who are interested. Outside of that, Be sure to check out PrizePicks. There's a link down in the description if you guys haven't checked them out already. We traveled over there. I showed you guys a couple of those entries that I made yesterday. Unfortunately, Luka Doncic wanted to sell me down the drain, but I'm telling you, those NBA numbers, they're a lot easier to play with than the NFL ones. And of course, they're daily in the NBA in comparison to the NFL that comes by only on the weekends on a consistent rate. And typically, these Thursday games, I've avoided them because really it's tough to tell what's going to happen. And based on the statistics that, kind of presented themselves today, it was definitely tough. Either way, again, if you guys want more content, the video I posted earlier today, right here, bottom right, tied in the quarterback rankings, you can check that out. Outside of that, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to cue the music. I do appreciate y'all coming through, sending in those super chats, clicking the like button. And until next time, I'll see you guys. Peace.